anak ng dagat. Sana ba? Tuloy-tuloy pa rin ang paglapastangan sa ating Black Sand sa Zambales. Ito pang masaklap, libre na nga ang pagmina nila ng Black Sand doon, karamihan ay from China, and then ibinebenta pabalik sa ating gobyerno. Anong klaseng kabalastugan po yan? Ibinebenta sa reclamation dyan sa Pasay at sa iba pang mga reclamation sa iba't ibang parte ng Pilipinas. Kumuha sila ng Black Sand sa karagatan natin, and then, nang libre, ibebenta pabalik sa atin. Hindi ba kalokohan po yan? Is this of national security concern? Kaya bawal sa inyong Freedom of Information Manual, bawal kayo magbigay ng impormasyon tungkol sa mga nag-apply ng ECC at mining permit.
Sobrang nakakagulat na balita. Grabe, Senator Raffy Tulfo, binulgar ang mga kasabwat sa Pilipinas ng China, meron ng matatangal sa pwesto. Ayon sa nakalap nating impormasyon, nagsalita na si Idol Raffy Tulfo sa issue ng nagaganap patungkol sa ginawang pagbibigay ng permit natin sa China para maibenta nila ang lupa nila dito. Binulgar kasi ni Senator Raffy Tulfo sa West Philippine Sea nang gagaling ang kinukuhang binibenta lupa sa atin ng China. Nabulgar kasabwat ang DENR sa Pilipinas, meron ng matatanggal sa pwesto. Tara panoorin natin.
We now recognize Senator Raffy Tulfo.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ang DNR, ang ahensya ng gobyerno na natasang pangalagaan at bantayan ng ating kalikasan. But because of recent events, lumilitaw na ang DNR ay isang ahensya na matatawag kong bantay sa lakay. Turo-turo style. Bakit po turo-turo style? Nagtuturoan. Kapag kami po ay tumawag sa DNR para mag-usisa, mag-imbestiga tungkol sa mga illegal structures, tungkol sa mga paglapastangan sa ating mga kalikasan, nagtuturoan. Ito pa po ang pinakamasakit at nakaka-insulto. Ito pong DNR Freedom Information Manual, hindi ko alam kung kailan nilabas ito, na kung saan ipinagbabawal ang DNR na magbigay ng impormasyon tungkol sa mga nag-a-apply ng ECC at mining. God damn. Is this of national security concern? Kaya bawal sa inyong Freedom of Information Manual, bawal kayo magbigay ng impormasyon tungkol sa mga nag-apply ng ECC at mining permit. Unang lumabas itong kalokohan sa Bohol, Chocolate Hills. After my exposure, nakatanggap ako ng maraming sumbong tungkol sa paglalapastangan naman ng kalikasan sa Digos, Davao. 97 na mga structures na naitayo doon. Out of those 97, there are few na na-issue ng ECC. But marami doon ang hindi pa. At patuloy pa rin nagpapatayo ng struktura. At nang tumawag po kami kung anong gagawing hakbang ng DNR, we were told bigyan daw ng 2 years palugit para pagdesisyonan nila kung isasara ba ang dapat isara o hindi isara ang dapat hindi isara. Again, hindi ho ba kabalastugan na naman yan? Now, meron naman po ako natanggap na sumbong sa Bohol pa rin. Ito po ang isang shipyard na kung saan 19 hectares po na mangroves ang sinira para mapagpatayo ng shipyard doon. Now, alam ko na ipinagbabawal ang pagputol ng mangroves. Base po sa Republic Act noong 1990. Pero bakit po pinayagan ang pagpapatayo ng isang shipyard sa Bohol? Bakit po nabigyan ito ng ECC? Ngayon, magkaharap-harap tayo. Sana wag ho kayo magturo-turuan. Dahil it will be an insult to us here, senators, na in front of us, magtuturuan pa rin kayo. And I'm happy na nandito Secretary Yulo Loizaga, na I'm sure yung mga katanungan ko namin tungkol sa paglapastangan sa ating kalikasan ay masasagot na maayos. Black sand mining sa Zambales. Nung last budget hearing, Secretary Laizaga, na pag-usapan natin to, and you did promise na you look into it or better off, ipapahinto yun. Anak ng dagat. Sana ba? Tuloy-tuloy pa rin ang paglapastangan sa ating black sand sa Zambales. Ito pang masaklap. Libre na nga ang pagmina nila ng black sand doon, karamihan ay from China, and then ibinebenta pabalik sa ating gobyerno. Anong klaseng kabalastugan po yan? Ibinebenta sa reclamation dyan sa Pasay at sa iba pang mga reclamation sa iba't ibang parte ng Pilipinas. Kumuha sila ng black sand sa karagatan natin and then, ng libre, ibebenta pabalik sa atin. Hindi ba kalokohan po yan? You guys have to explain. Matagal na pong naging pabaya kayo dyan sa DNR. Hanggang ngayon, patuloy pa rin sa pagiging pabaya. Lumilitaw tuloy na kayo po yung mga protektor ng mga nagsisirang kalikasan. Masungi Geo Reserve. Bakit po nabigyan ng ECC ang Rizal Wind Energy Corporation o Vina Energy? Napakatagal na po na problema itong sa Masungi Geo Reserve. Hanggang ngayon, di po marisolba. Bakit? Sa ngalan ng ano? 97 po yung mga structures nandoon around Mount Apo, covered ng reserve, as reserve area. Bakit po 6 lamang po ang nabigyan ng ECC at karamihan ay walang ECC at in process? Ano po yung plano nyo doon? Actually, 57 wala pong ECC, 32 in process, and then 6 lang ang may ECC. So, what's the game plan?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Senator. I will turn over to Red Dumagan. That is part of her presentation on Mount Apo, and she can respond directly to the questions. Red?
We will ask if we will go with Mount Apo first or Chocolate Hills. Or we'll go na to Mount Apo. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Red?
Good morning, Madam Chair. Good morning to our honorable senators. Your Honor, per our latest update, there are a total of 96 establishments within MANPI, and 3 are with complete, it's with PAMB clearance, ECC, and SAPA, sir. And with PAMB clearance and with ECC, there are 6 establishments.
That's right. So,
yes, sir.
but there are 57 structures na walang ECC. And 32 ay pinoprocess pa lamang yung kanilang ECC. So what is your plan about these structures na walang ECC and they're within the protected area?
Yes,
Madam
sir.
Chair, with your indulgence, Senator, maybe present the full presentation on Mount Apo so you will see the details and the ways forward, Madam Chair, Senator.
No, yes ma'am, I understand. Pero sa akin gusto ko lang sana direct to the point na muna so dun sa question ko kasi mapapahaba pa tayo eh. Yun lang po ang tanong ko, bakit po pinayagan na alam naman natin protected area yon, pinayagan niyo pa rin patuloy magpatayo ng mga struktura doon at patuloy pa rin po kayo nagpo-process ng mga ECC permit knowing na protected area yon at bawal na doon at meron po tayong mapa. Bakit po?
Yes, Your Honor. It was just, we strengthened our conduct of monitoring and inventory sometime in 2018 and 2019, and these establishments were discovered. And so these establishments applied for PAMB clearance with the PAMB. So they were also given clearance, and then they were encouraged to then apply for ECC.
Yeah, nabigyan kasi ng clearance ng PAMB, pero alam naman po natin within the protected area yan at alam naman natin na dapat wala sila doon, and yet we continue entertaining their application and saying na it's in process. So ibig sabihin, may balak tayong bigyan pa sila. So parami ng parami para makabuti po, nagsusuputan itong mga illegal structures doon po sa Mount Apo. At kapag kami po ay magtawag sa inyo, sa DNR, nagtuturoan po kayo. Yung pong masakit eh. Di ba? You're supposed to be, tinatawag nating tagabantay ng ating kalikasan, pero parang bantay sa lakay po, dating nyo dito. So what are your plans with pertaining to these structures na walang ECC? At itong mga structures na pinoprocess palang ECC?
There are 53 latest update, Your Honor.
57. 57.
Sir, may ECC na po yung iba. Apo.
Okay.
So, 34 with PAMBI clearance and no ECC. 53 are without PAMBI clearance and no ECC.
So anong balak nyo po dito sa wala pang clearance? At
We
walang
have,
ECC at alam nyo po na bawal, dapat wala sila doon. So anong plano?
Yes.
Kasi we were told na bigyan daw ng 2 years. Sabi po ng DNR, bibigyan daw po ng 2 years palugit itong mga walang ECC to continue to operate. Ang binigay at ang rason para makabawi daw doon sa kanilang tinayo, sa kanilang investment. In the first place, ba't sila pinayagan na tumayo doon? Sana, hanggat hindi po sila nakakuha ng permit, ng ECC permit, hindi dapat sila pinapayagan magpatayo ng struktura doon. Kaya nga binanggit mo kanina, monitoring, wala kayong ginagawang proper monitoring.
Sir, to answer the question as to what do we do with those without ECC, we are going to issue notices of violation.
Notices of violation.
Yes,
Hanggang
and
doon lang po.
Sa walang mga PAMBI clearance, mag-issue po kami ng mga...
Teka muna. So, issue of notice of violation.
Yes po.
Okay. So, hanggang doon lang. Notice of violation. And then what, ma'am?
And then they will be called for a technical conference, and if for the conduct of case built up, but if they can explain properly or if it is deemed that the project is not detrimental to the environment, they can be issued ECC.
Ma'am,
Place, dapat hindi napatayo yun. Oh. I think your problem, Secretary Loizaga, your regional is very poor or walang concern sa ginagawa nyo. I think the regional is kasi pag pinag-report mo sila ng pinag-report, yung report nila nakakatawa eh. Bakit mo pababayaan na walang ECC at walang PAMBI tatayo? Oh. So you're not watching over it.
Di ba sabi mo kanina, meron kayo ginagawa monitoring dito sa mga struktura na itinatayo sa mga protected areas. Okay, kung meron kayong ginagawa monitoring, dapat itong 57 na structures na nakatayo na ngayon doon, hindi dapat nangyari ito. Dapat napigilan to. Ang ginawa nyo, pinayagan nyo magpatayo dyan and then pinoprocess nyo while processing their application. Dapat mag-apply muna sila, once na-approve na application nila, saka pa lang sila magpatayo ng struktura. Yun po dapat ang patakaran. Yun po yung standard. Ang nangyari, pinapayagan nyo na magtayo dyan, and siguro, alam mo na ang dahilan. Sa magkano kadahilanan, siguro po, ang katanungan ko doon, follow up.
With your indulgence, Madam Chair, can I say something po regarding Mount Apo? Just to answer the query of the good senator.
Your regional, what their responsibility is. Kasi parang wala silang pakialam. Tumayo ka ng tumayo dyan. Kahit walang ECC, walang PAMBI, wala silang pakialam. You cannot do that. You cannot do that.
Dati rin siya, Madam Chair, na red doon sa 11, kaya pwede rin siyang sumagot.
Madam Chair, sir, just to go on further, the Red Dumagan was saying, actually po, the region issued 57 show-cause orders already and 24 notice violations and 7
But
cease and
you should
desist
not
orders.
to build. Kasi pag allow mo nang to build, mahirap nang tanggalin. Yun ang
Correct.
problema.
Madam Chair, we agree.
Dapat kayo, hindi nyo ina-allow to build. Kasi pag nag-build na yan, tell it to the Marines. Napakahirap magtanggal niyan. Walang gagawa niyan.
Yusek Fragada.
Yes, sir.
Meron kayong monitoring team kung tawagin. Ano pong tawag sa monitoring team nyo? Can you give me the
Sir,
exact
it's
name?
through the Protected Area Management Office po. Meron po sila.
Ano tawag?
PAMO Office po.
PAMO Office.
Yes,
What
and-
does PAMO stands for?
Protected Area Management Office.
Okay, sila sa
all the
monitoring.
Yes, sir.
So, kailangan itong mga tagapamo na may jurisdiction sa Mount Apo, pagsisibakin mo. Totoo, hindi ako nagbibiro. Dahil kapag hindi mo pagsisibakin yan, pagdududahan ng mga tao, hanggang sa kataas-taasan, tumatanggap din.
Yes, Your Honor.
Prove to us na malinis kayo.
Yes, Your Honor.
Na protector talaga kayo ng environment.
Yes, Your Honor.
Kasi tama nga naman sinasabi din ni Senator Cynthia na in the first place, hindi niya sana pinayagan yun na makapagpatayo yan. Sinasabi kanina, papaulit-ulit, kailangan permit muna bago structure. Dito, nangyari, structure muna saka mag-apply ng permit. Tapos in process pa yung permit, etc. O ngayon, 57, paano pa ito pasasara itong 57 ito at sinabihan kami na give them 2 years daw.
We agree, Your Honor, with your recommendation. One of the problems actually, and we'd like to recommend to the Senate to help us with this, nabanggit nyo po yung constitution ng PAMO office. For Mount Apo per se, we only have around 1 plantilla officer there and around maybe 30 job orders po na umiikot over 62,000.
So, ibig sabihin po, 31 ang empleyado nyo sa monitoring?
Po, 62 over, they have to monitor 62,000 hectares of Mount Apo po. So, that's one of the areas we'd like to recommend na matulungan po kami ng Senado.
Sir,
to
there's such thing as drone. Pwede mo lang kayo gumamit ng drone para ma-monitor yung the whole area kahit na ilang hektarya pa yan, kahit na thousands of hectares yan. Kung gusto maraming paraan, kung ayaw maraming dahilan, di po ba?
Yes, sir. Actually po, this year, because of the budget, would increase the budget on the drones were increased para nga po further ma-monitor.
Sir, we were not born yesterday. All of us were not born yesterday here. Alam ng DNR na itong 57 na mga illegal structures na tinayo doon ay hindi dapat naroon. Pinayagan nila, sabi kanina, sa magkanong kadahilanan. Dahil kapag hindi, sila ay diretso lamang, hindi sana natayo itong mga structures na ito. Ngayon, mahirapan kayo patanggal to. Nakatayo na eh. Di po ba?
Yes,
so
sir.
sabi ko, yung mga tagapamo nyo, sir, disiplinahin nyo yun. Dahil sigurado ako, kasabwat yun ng mga nagpatayo ng illegal structures.
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor. We will do that.
Thank you very much. We now acknowledge Secretary Loizaga because he asked that she be dismissed earlier, so we will give her a chance to say her piece before we start the question and answer. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Honorable Senator Cynthia A. Villar, Honorable Maria Lourdes Nancy Binay, Honorable Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa, Honorable Senator Rafi Tulfo, Honorable Senator Robin Padilla. Good morning. Honorable members of the Committee on Environment and Natural Resources and Climate Change and the Committee on Local Government. Colleagues in the DNR and co-workers in government, good morning. May I respectfully begin by thanking the two committees for initiating this public hearing to shed light on the reported exploitation and defacement of certain protected areas. This was highlighted by the recent discovery of a resort structure within the Chocolate Hills Natural Monument, a 13,994.95 hectare protected area and recognized UNESCO Global Geopark. Today's inquiry in aid of legislation into the status of and reported illegal structures within the protected areas is a testament to Congress's unwavering commitment to conservation and environmental stewardship, recognizing the critical importance of protecting and maintaining the natural, biological, and physical diversities of our environments, most notably within our protected areas. These protected areas serve as vital sanctuaries that support the web of life that consists of unique diversity of biological life and the land, air, and water that sustains them. These invaluable terrestrial, coastal, and marine ecosystems not only serve as crucial habitats for endangered species, they provide essential ecosystem services for food, water, and energy security, and they embody the specific culture, spirit, and identities that constitute our nation. While the intersecting ecological, physical, and social geographies have different boundaries, ultimately the establishment of protected areas is legislative in nature. We respectfully recognize that these are therefore deeply in line with the authority of Congress to investigate and assess the effectiveness of the law in terms of existing protection and conservation measures in these areas, as well as to identify both old and new threats and propose and legislate amendments to the existing law to enhance this area's preservation. It was for this very same reason that Congress in 2018 passed Republic Act 11038, or the E-NIPAS Act, which increased the number of protected areas and provided strong conservation measures and penalties for its violations. However, in the past 4 years since its passing, the DNR has sought to implement its rules and regulations, contending with realities on the ground, including disasters and the pandemic. The E-NIPAS law has been tested against the context of rights that preceded its passing, the various national and local laws, and formal and informal agreements that have altered the distinct landscapes and seascapes, the need for livelihoods and the support to the national economy, the challenges of inadequate budget, number of personnel with knowledge and capacity, as well as powerful influences and pressures, both benign and malignant. The Chocolate Hills was established as a protected area by RA 11038. It is a symbol of our national heritage, and this has become under scrutiny due to the construction of a resort facility that may have overstepped, in fact, legal and environmental boundaries. The Chocolate Hills are not only a figure of our nation's natural beauty, but also proof of our commitment to conservation. The presence of the resort facility undermines these values and threatens the integrity of the natural monument. Unfortunately, we believe our investigations will yield even more human-induced impacts on this fragile geological system. Our initial investigation has revealed that Captain's Peak Resort appears to be a titled property among the vast alienable and disposable areas within the area. Not only is there one title or two, we have discovered there is a third title involved. Its construction and operations are without the necessary environmental compliance certificate, a clear violation of the NIPAS Act and the Protected Area Management Board resolutions that have been issued. The DNR is also investigating various environmental violations, including those related to the Clean Water Act. On March 14, 2024, our regional offices have issued an indefinite cease and desist order against Captain's Peak Resort. Because of this, however, it has the effect of loss of livelihood. We have also facilitated the enrollment of the displaced employees of Captain's Peak into the Doles Tupad program in order to tide them over in the meantime while this process is undergoing. This is a process, together with Dole, that we hope to be able to replicate in other situations where there will be displacement. These actions and the continuing investigation of the PA demonstrate our commitment to enforcing environmental laws and preserving the integrity of the Chocolate Hills Monument. To date, there are 248 protected areas, as mentioned earlier by Madam Chair. These cover 7.4 million hectares. Given the vastness of this area, we humbly acknowledge the enormous challenge that the department has in addressing the conservation and protection of our biodiversity from species loss, given as we must take into account the impacts of climate change, human activities which may alter land and sea and coastal use, and bring about pollution. This mandate must be fulfilled by the DNR despite its resource limitations to ensure compliance and our limited enforcement capacity. Nonetheless, under this administration, we remain steadfast. When I assumed office in 2022, I made it clear that the continuing preservation of the country's indigenous species as part of our natural heritage, and at the same time we must harness these resources for the benefit of our country, will be one of the key elements of the department's shared vision. In closing, the department is fully aware that what has happened in the Chocolate Hills Monument is not in isolation. Other protected areas require investigations. In the case of Captain's Peak Resort, the proponent failed to secure an ECC, a necessary requirement under the NIPAS Act, in order to determine any potential significant adverse impacts of the project or activity on the protected area. While the present law allows development activities and special uses as ecotourism facilities, the provision of renewable energy and water supply within our protected areas, these are, however, subject to regulatory requirements and safeguards that the proponent should strictly abide to, namely, the alignment of the proposed project to the management plan of the protected area. The proposed project should be within the multiple use zone and securing the PAMBI clearance and an ECC and an FPIC as required. These are in place to ensure that development does not come at the cost of environmental degradation and biodiversity loss. Realizing the occurrence of similar incidents in other areas, the Department has come up with the following actions. First, I have instructed all regional offices to conduct an inventory of all existing structures within the PAs and evaluate the compliance thereof with environmental regulations and standards. And with the indulgence of the committee, Madam Chair, there are presentations on the different protected areas that have been mentioned. Secondly, regional offices were also enjoined to conduct a comprehensive review of all ECCs issued for projects within PAs. Third, there will be approval, the approval of by regional offices of ECC applications for projects within PAs is now suspended until further notice. And all pending and future ECC applications within the PAs will be processed at the EMB Central Office, and this must secure the endorsement of the Biodiversity Management Bureau. Fifth, it is also in this context that the DNR, the DILG, and the DOT issued a joint statement of collaboration, and Honorable Secretaries Abalos and Frasco and I have made recommendations on the approval process, including the composition of the PAMBI. We respectfully acknowledge with thanks the strategic and operational partnerships with the DILG and the DOT on many intersecting environmental issues. Lastly, this year, I have also directed all regional offices to submit the complete inventory of all protected area community-based resource management agreements, or PACBARMA, and determine that those that are non-compliant they must be recommended for cancellation. This is also in line with the ongoing collaborative efforts of the DNR, the DOJ, the DILG, the DSWD, in response to the Senate inquiry on Socorro, Siargao Protected Land and Seascape. The first phase of cancellations will be effected this month. We trust that these efforts will allow us to fully examine the actions of all stakeholders involved in the PAs, including not just the DNR, the PAMBI members, the private sector, the NGOs, and the local government units and their constituencies. It's imperative that we establish the histories behind the facts, understand the implications of these developments, and take the appropriate legislative action to protect and conserve our protected areas. It is also imperative that we recognize that in environmental protection and conservation, there is no such thing as a monopoly on good. These are whole of society and not just whole of government efforts. We therefore respectfully urge then that the two committees to support and ensure the passage of the bill creating an Environmental Protection and Enforcement Bureau, a long-term legislative measure that will strengthen the environmental law enforcement capacity of the DNR in our protected areas. As we proceed with these investigations, the DNR is committed to uncovering the truth that lies in the history of these challenges, holding those responsible accountable, instituting internal organizational changes which are already underway, and recognizing any legislative measures that the two committees may so propose. The effects of decades of past legislation, proclamations, specific human decisions, and powerful influences and pressures, both benign and malignant, cannot be undone in a matter of months. Under this administration, we will, however, work tirelessly to protect our natural heritage and enforce the laws designed to protect it. There are good men and women in the DNR. Without their efforts and our organizational transformation, we would not be able to do this job. We aim to further build an organization that is fit for purpose. We thank the Senate for its attention of these critical issues and look forward to a thorough and fair inquiry. And I beg your indulgence, and I wish to pay my courtesies to both Senator Lauren Legarda and Senator Bongo, who are present virtually. Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and good morning.
Thank you very much, Secretary Loizaga. First of all, we want you to give a copy to the committee of what the DNR have issued recently with regards to the protection,
Yes,
what you have mentioned
Yes,
in your
Madam Chair.
speech. And I just want to ask you one question. Is the Masungi contract, which is endless, di ba? No time frame, is that valid?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I will turn over to our legal department, the head of legal, Yusek June Adobo. This is a matter of legal question,
Yeah.
and we are aware of the circumstances that surrounded the signing of this contract. And we do have an opinion from the DOJ at this moment that actually says that it is unconstitutional. So if I may turn over to Yusek June Adobo. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. With the permission of the Secretary. So already said our position, finding that the contract, that the MOA is infirm, illegal, was also sustained by DOJ. So it is, Madam Chair.
So what are you going to do?
We are in the process of cancelling we recommended actually the cancellation of the MOA.
Madam Chair, the legal grounds for the cancellation are what we are calling voidance ab initio, given the advice of the DOJ.
What do you mean by that?
From the very beginning.
It is void from the very beginning, so it doesn't have
So
the
it
effect.
doesn't exist.
Ma'am.
If it's void, it doesn't exist. Or how come they are still there?
Madam Chair, if I may, there is a presentation that will recall the history of this place.
Okay.
And there will be, in fact, circumstances that will be revealed in that presentation that actually pertain to another entity called Blue Star Construction Company.
Okay.
That is part of the history of the area.
You have a general PowerPoint ng DNR that you want to present?
Madam Chair, we will present the individual PowerPoints for each of the protected areas.
So
we can begin, Madam Chair, with your indulgence on the Chocolate Hills
Okay.
presentation. Thank
can you
ma'am.
give us a copy of that PowerPoint?
Yes, ma'am.
The
We will
committee,
submit everything.
So we can watch it even if we're not in the hearing.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, will the Secretary be staying after the PowerPoint presentation or aalis na po ba siya?
Be leaving at 12, di ba? Oh, so she will stay up to 12 noon. Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, siguro before they start the individual presentation, but in general, what is the policy when it comes dun sa mga protected areas? Like, permitting, ano ba talaga yung areas that can be developed for ecotourism? Meron ho bang ganung dokumento ang DNR that will be cascaded dun sa mga PAMBI within the protected areas?
Thank you very much for that question, Madam Chair and Senator Binay. There is a policy construction, and the implementing rules and regulations of the INAIPAS are actually the guidance for the different practices and policies. There are in the protected areas multiple use zones and strict protection zones. However, there are also other rights that will need to be recognized if they preceded the enrollment in the INAIPAS list. In the case of Chocolate Hills, as you will see, Madam Chair, of the 13,900 or so hectares, about 13,500 are actually alienable and disposable prior to the enrollment of the Chocolate Hills in the INAIPAS list. So those are some of the rights that we need to contend with, because there are titles that had been issued already historically. And I'll turn over to Yusek Adobo for the legal basis for that.
Yeah, but the question has been answered, Madam. Yes, we have regulations to follow.
And na-check nyo naman ho yung compliance because, I mean, based dun sa nakikita namin dun sa mga protected areas, parang it's just a piece of paper, di ba? Parang wala akong ginagawa yung mga taga-DNR sa baba to implement yung supposed to be IRR in protecting the protected areas. Na in fact, katulad ho dito sa Chocolate Hills, kaya ho to pumutok kasi meron hong isang vlogger na pinopromote niya yung Captain's Peak para bisitahin. Di ba? Hindi pa nga dahil may concern tayong citizen to protect Chocolate Hills, but actually to protect the, to promote the resort. So, yun na nga, katulad doon na nasabi niyo, Secretary Loizaga, I agree with you na there are plenty of good people sa DNR, but at the moment, hindi ho natin siya nararamdaman at hindi rin ho siya nararamdaman ng ating mga kababayan.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. And to respond to that, under the INAIPAS law, the construction and the membership of the PAMBI, the Protected Area Management Board, is vital to understanding why, in fact, the management of these areas is as they are. Under the law, there is a list of who should be the members of the PAMBI. And in different situations, there are as many as 100, 147 members, etc. The membership of the PAMBI is dominated by the local interests. The DNR sits as chair. It does not vote. And the PAMBI can be constituted when the DNR is absent or not available because there is another pressing engagement by the majority of the members. In the case of Chocolate Hills, it was the barangay officials that actually approved the resolution. And that is, in fact, one of the longer-standing policy changes we would like to propose, as well as a change to the legislation in terms of the construction and membership of the PAMBI and what its role should be.
That is my experience also in our legislated protected area. There are too many barangay captains. Why do you have to ask every barangay captain to be there? You can have one representative from the Association of Barangay Captains. Dito ang nagbigay ng ECC, yung barangay captain lang eh. Kasi ubod sa dami ng barangay captain eh. So ano malay ng barangay captain what is good for the environment? Sila yung pinakamadaling i-influence. In fact, in our city of Las Piñas, ang ini-influence ng gustong mag-reclaim are the barangay captain kasi madali silang lokohin. Oo. So, gusto nila mag-meeting kami at manalo yung mga barangay captain sa PAMBI meeting. Ako lang ang pumigil dun eh. Oo. Kasi I don't think it's fair. I don't think the barangay captains understand the damage that what they're going to pass at PAMBI would be disastrous to the protected area. So I think I agree with you that we should change the constitution of the PAMBI to give more power to those who understand the issues. Oo, kasi hindi nila naiintindihan ng issue.
Ngayon, ikaw, bilang Pilipino, ano ang masasabi mo at reaksyon sa balitang ito? Mag-iwan ka ng komento sa ibaba at atin pong babasahin isa-isa.